Hello. I was muted. Sorry about that. Okay. Damn. I feel like we got a lot more to talk about today than yesterday. All right, I'm going to start with you guys. How's everyone feeling? Conflicted. Me too. The Brudder moment was great. The Brudder moment was so great. Yeah, as an Armada documentary and a PP documentary, it's excellent. We got a couple things to talk about.
What up?
Hey.
Yeah, we might get Scar in here too.
That's
Dream
tight.
Squad. I just want to ask you guys questions because you guys are going to know more
I'm down.
about this time period. But I got to say, dude, I think we got to stop hanging out with Leffen. I'm sorry, but I did not know he hated disabled people so much. And that is, I'm going to try and throw Scar in here.
Good. Yeah.
Let's get Scar in this
Fucking go.
call. Scar!
What's up, y'all?
Bobby.
Mr.
Hey, what
Melee,
up,
the
dude?
new wife. What's your initial impressions? Where are you at?
Okay, I felt like 4. Sophie kind of came in on number 4, and I was kind of like, eh. And then episode 5, I felt hype about certain moments. I felt really good about certain moments.
I think the favorite part for me of all 3 episodes today was Armada. Because
Yeah.
Armada's the best.
Armada about to cry when he got to bring his brother to Vegas.
Oh
is
yeah,
like-
that part was heartwarming.
That's like one of the
for sure.
greatest moments of all
It
the
was
doc.
so
I mean,
excellent. It was so excellent.
that was so cool.
I agree.
Bobby, don't you agree that I was saying earlier, I think the thing that this doc does that we've never gotten was these little snippets of some of these other gods, like Armada's, his feelings. I didn't know he came back to Melee for Andrew.
I didn't know.
I
I
didn't
didn't
know
know
that.
either, dude.
And imagine, you know, I was watching these episodes with my girlfriend Karen, and she was like, well, why is HBox standing in this footage?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I think he's doing it to psych out his opponents, but I'm not super sure. And wouldn't that be like this would be an opportunity to get a little glimpse behind the curtain for like a guy like HBox who,
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. Okay, is
Because
HBox
Sophie
even
asked
willing to
me
divulge
too.
that shit? Did
Sophie
she?
asked me too while she was watching it. Yeah, it's like that's a thing that I feel like I don't
Yeah,
know.
that'd be cool.
Maybe
Yeah.
a little bit of a missed opportunity, but I feel
It's
like I
alright.
saw the real Armada. You know, in
Yeah.
a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
100%.
I kind of feel bad that I never knew the real Armada, even
You too-
though we've been near him. You know, we've had him on the show.
Yeah.
he's
I
Yeah.
never knew him like that. My tweets are all about Armada.
Your tweets were fire.
You
Your
had
tweet, I
first.
like where you
Dude.
said I never knew I loved it. What was the moment, Bobby, that you
Yeah, what made you
decided
say
to make
that?
that
I
tweet?
swear to God,
I'll pull it up.
I'm pretty sure it was when he said, "Oh my fellow man."
My fellow
When he said "my
man.
fellow man," dude, I just was giggling. I just wanted to give him a big hug, dude. I can't even tell you. I just want to coffee with my fellow man now. Oh my goodness. And yeah, and then when he said, because I just slowly remembered them over the day after I tweeted it yesterday. But when he was saying that PP reminded him of himself, I don't know, man. I got nerd chills, dude. I felt like how sincere he was when he said it. You know?
It's funny because like there's kind of been that narrative for so long that it almost feels cheesy these days. Like when you talk about East Coast style, West Coast style, all this stuff, you know, it's like. But back then it really was true, and like Mango had this kind of style, and then you know Armada, and I remember in Genesis 1 when Armada was tearing things up, Lamb Chops I think it was like, yo, this is like a Peach version of Mewtwo King, you know, and it was kind of like. Yeah, there were these parallels. It was actually kind of chilling at the time to think that there could be more than one Mewtwo King.
And it's such a hype way to think about the game. I
It
know
is.
it's so, especially for people who aren't, you know, hyper competitive at the top level of Melee and can know the nuances. Just being able to simplify it down to like these cool, different styles is a really fun way to experience watching it, to think about the game. And you know, obviously, it's not that simple.
for
It's not
sure.
that black and white, right? It's not. But like, it's the way an anime does it, where it's like this guy plays this way, and this. It's just cool. It's a cool way to look at it. And
It's like a battle when there's a battle of concepts being played out. It's just
Yeah.
a cool thing. Yeah.
yeah,
And I think it's
Makes
cool to hear a guy like Armada say it, because when Armada says it, it's like
It has
not
meaning, it has
just
weight.
cool anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
well, if Armada's saying it's not a meme anymore, you know what I'm saying?
Actually,
It's
yeah. I think that's one of the best parts of the doc so far is that they've gotten so many top players to say things that really reinforce the
Yeah.
storyline they're trying to paint.
Mhm.
So it doesn't feel like it's made up. It feels like these things were actually in people's heads at the time. Like some of the quotes they got Mango to say, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I was like, damn, if Mango thought that really means it meant something. I'm sure.
yeah,
Because Mango would be the first to be like, that's bullshit. Like, you know, like if he didn't believe it. So it was just cool.
There were also, dude, there's some weird. Has anybody talked about like the psychoanalysis kind of part of? Okay, all right. You don't know where I'm going with this yet, right?
No, of course we're gonna do it. Are you gonna
Okay,
say a
dude,
cog?
you
all
said
I'll just tell you-
psychoanal-
No.
Okay.
Okay, so this is I'm basically about to say that I think that the doc invites me to make some logical leaps that are like highly like psychiatric, or what do they call it, armchair psychiatrist
Yeah.
diagnostic
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And a couple of those, I feel their juxtaposition is just so crazy, where like PP said he spent time telling us about how he had this one friend who was better than him. Do you remember this part?
Yes, in high school or
Yeah.
like lower school. or
And
something
like
even.
it's like pretty it was fucking funny when he said that, because he beat, who did he beat? He beat Mango, or he beat somebody, and he was like, I just wanted to beat that guy who was better than me. Like
He said I didn't want to
beat
be the
that
best.
person.
Right. The
Yeah, I
goal
don't
was
wanna
never to be the
I wanted to
best.
be
It
the
was
guy.
just a
I
I didn't want anybody
tell
better than
that
me.
guy who
Yeah.
was better than me, like that they needed to respect me. It was just so like, it was just juxtaposed where it's like, dog, did you just repress those feelings about that one fucking guy that you were friends with, and you just like your Melee career is about how you settled that score subliminally? Like he said it right after, I feel. And there was a moment where even with Mango, like Lucky talks about how he wants attention and wants everybody's eyes on him. And then I heard myself say like, oh, it's so weird that Mango plays so well when everybody's eyes are on him. Like it's in his comfort zone.
Mhm.
And I just felt like it invited me to see it as the same thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're saying
Like,
that
yeah,
there's basically parallels
he
between.
wants attention from everybody in the room. And then when he's playing and knows that the story's about him, then he's in his comfort zone. But then that's also, if you don't think about it that way, that's when the pressure is really high.
During
when we're really questioning who Mango is and whether he's good enough.
Yeah, and I think Mango
And
wasn't
that's when
getting
he
that.
plays really well.
Yeah.
I think he wasn't getting that sense of fulfillment in that era because they talked about like the Scorpion Massacre, like Mango's going to tournaments and not entering or not trying, and he felt
knew
like
that he didn't have our
he
had
had nothing to gain. Yeah.
He
And
knew we didn't have our attention.
Only negative attention, if anything.
We
right?
weren't
When he
paying
lost,
attention.
people got
He was just beating everybody. Yeah.
Winning is a default, and then losing was bad. So there's no win. There's no like upside. There's no.
He needed our attention. Like that's
Yeah.
one way to see this.
Yeah.
And I feel like that happened a couple times. It was really funny.
But that's kind of beautiful. I mean, that's awesome part of the doc. Like that. I think that was one of the great takeaways. Was some of the inner psyche we got.
Bobby, speaking of psyche, I have a good question for you. So this is kind of a callback to, if you remember, the last time we did a Reads episode in person, before quarantine.
Yeah.
And we were talking about Zain. And we talked about you talked about how you felt from Zain like he was miles better than than the field at kind of distancing his self-worth from his performance. And how he really kind of didn't have this sense of,
I remember that.
His ego wouldn't get shattered from loss, and he was really good at focusing on kind of what he needed to focus on. And I was making this point, I kind of realized this watching the doc, how all of the top players kind of took little different facets of things from each other. And something I've noticed in the community very recently is I feel like all of the top players have gotten a lot better at handling loss. And I actually started thinking out loud, I wonder if there is some influence that's happening where Zain and his, I think, great competitive mentality is actually rubbing off on the other top players. And I'm starting to think, yes.
Yeah.
Because in the doc, it talked about, PP was saying the culture kind of trickles between the different top players. Mango was being mean to me, and I started being mean to other people. Started becoming part of my sense of humor. I said, you got to win the Falconer to sit in the chair or whatever. And I was like, damn, that's some powerful stuff.
Zain doc, next one.
Just a thought I had. I mean,
all on Zain.
That's all. All Karen's been saying is like, when's the Zain doc? I'm trying to see the Zain doc. Karen's a big Zain fan. I'm a big Zain fan. So
everyone should be a Zain fan now.
Hey, do you think Leffen ever had a solid argument for best in the world?
Short time, I think, like
2015, right?
Summer 2015, for a couple months, because he won 3 majors back to back.
And also, the moment you win an Evo, you should say, "At this minute, I'm the best." You should be able to say that.
I definitely agree with that. No, I definitely agree. I'm just wondering if, who do you guys think is the best player in the world right now?
Right now, it's Zain, I think.
No, I don't think it's close.
You see what I'm saying? There's
Okay.
He's been the best. I guess Toph, I feel like what you're saying is so true, and also I feel like Zain kind of changed the rules of the table. You know what I'm saying? He's the fucking best.
Yeah, he's the fucking best.
You get invited to his house for dinner if you're trying to. Shit is over, dude. It used to be the five godfathers. They would come to the neutral ground and have dinner.
It's
they
all
kind
at
of
Zain's house now.
It's all at Zain's house.
Mango would get
He's
dick
got
when
the
he was
biggest
winning.
mansion.
Yeah, he would just take over more of the space, but it was kind of shared in a way, and I feel like Leffen Leffen made his way into that kingdom, no
Mhm.
question. I'm not saying that he didn't, but I don't feel like he took down the old decorations the way that Zain kind of has.
I actually agree with you.
It's
I
a good
feel like
point.
everything Zayn, I mean, Leffen said he wanted to be, which is like the one solo god, the true end of the era. It almost feels like that's what Zayn's really done. Like Leffen
Yeah.
pioneered it. He broke the door open, but Zayn has cleaned out everything that there used to be.
Yeah, yes.
He's bulldozed the old mall and built a new
Yeah.
emporium and a Zayn.
Yeah, put up
multiplex.
new statues, you know.
Yeah. Because it is really the Zayn era. No one, if you're not even, if you're
Yeah.
not grinding 24/7, you can't even touch him. You can't even.
That's crazy.
What's the word for that? Iconoclasm. Iconoclasm.
That's a new word for me. I don't know. You have to explain it.
It's the action of attacking or assertively rejecting cherished beliefs in institutions or established values and practices.
Mhm.
He
That's
iconoclasted
what
all
I
over
think
everything.
I think that's what Leffen did. Leffen like knew about all this old shit. And he's like, I want to tear down. I want to break it. And Zayn's
But
almost
Zayn
like,
did it. Zayn tore it all
doesn't even
down.
care. Zayn's beyond that. Zayn is like moving.
Oh, I
Like,
see.
he's not even trying. He's not attacking that because it doesn't matter to him. It's so far beneath him. That stuff is so. It's like ancient history. It feels
But
different
also,
to me.
I feel like both of what you're saying. I see both of what you're saying.
Yeah,
It's like not in conflict, actually. Yeah.
I just feel like it mattered to Leffen, and to Zayn, it's almost like
But that's one of those things.
Doesn't
Like
matter to me. Like
that's actually one of those things. Like if you try to beat the best, you're always like rotating around them. You know what I'm saying? You never get your own center of gravity.
yeah,
You have to have your own perspective, and I feel like that's another one of those things with Zayn. Like he's just different.
yeah.
He's just, he wasn't like, he wasn't trying to rip anything down, and that made him more effective at ripping it down.
Yeah.
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 He does not
Wow.
define himself by his record versus other gods or whatever.
Yes. That's that non-dual
that's-
shit, dude. That's that Bruce Lee stuff, right? That's the
Non-dual.
part that I like.
Melee's so sick.
Dude, I love that Bruce Lee shit. I was super into it.
Can I tell a Scar Nintendo story real quick, just while we're on it, before I forget?
Yeah.
It's just funny. I think you'll like it. All right, because
No,
your
I don't
profile
even-
picture reminded me of it. All right. So in when did Ultimate come out? Or
Smash
4? I mean, Smash 4. When did Smash 4 come out?
2014.
So 2014, Scar and Toph, top of the world, biggest names in Melee, and he gets invited to cast the E3 reveal of Smash 4. All right, so they give him that custom profile picture that he has, and he's wearing a suit for the first time. I think I've seen him on commentary.
Yeah.
And he goes up and he gets to play the game all day before he goes live, just like to get a feel for it. All right. So he's playing it behind the scenes, playing it. And we're all especially for me, because I haven't been through Brawl as a community member. Like I didn't remember Brawl with such negative memories because I wasn't around in the scene. And so for me, I'm like, Melee's fucking rules. Smash 4 is going to be awesome. Let's go. And so me and Ben SW drive all the way down. We road trip from NorCal to E3. We drive all the way there. We get there. We're sitting in the front row. We're super excited. They're showing off the game. And we meet Scar behind in the side area behind the stage, like just say what's up. And we're like, yo, how is it? How's the game? He looks left. He looks right. Fucking sucks. That was the first. And then 5 minutes later, you go on stage, you're like, Smash 4, it's great. Like, get excited. It's so funny. It was so funny.
Dude, I had the same exact moment with Bobby, because Bobby got there first. And I remember I felt like I was taking, like, because it was such a surreal experience. And I think part of the reason we'd hoped for it was because they invited a lot of Melee personalities. They invited they didn't invite Mewtwo King. They invited Pew Pew You.
Yeah. Like they knew their shit. Like they picked the right people. They were like, this is good. Yeah. It felt like they were reaching out to the competitive community.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was, I remember I had this very, Bobby, I don't know if I've ever conveyed this to you. I had this wave of like real calmness because I felt like I was freaking out because I like was playing. I was like, am I the only person who feels the way I feel? And I went out to like the lobby to talk to you. And you were like, did you play it yet? And I was like, yeah. And you were like, what'd you think? And I was like, I mean, I don't know, man. It's, and you were like, yeah, it fucking sucks. And I felt like I was like back to reality. I felt like I'd been taking crazy pills and you brought me back to like, I'm among friends again. Cause I felt like I was like being, I don't know. I felt like I was in this weird, bizarre world.
Yeah.
I think I got to play it before you guys did. Commentators got to play it like a day before the players arrived. So I was kind of waiting for people to play it. and I kind of knew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at least in my opinion, no disrespect to
Sure.
the Smash 4 fans.
All 12 of them that still left.
Yeah.
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 They call those Bayonetta mains.
I was like, F this game. But I thought that the costumes were dope. I'll tell you one
That's
thing
right.
about that E3
Yeah,
Invitational.
one thing.
That swag and pink Mario was stuck in my head, dude. Those pink overalls. What is he wearing? It's like baby blue.
Yeah.
blue and pink. And,
It's like a preppy outfit.
PPU got the only
sick,
recorded
dude.
Smash 4 combo in history, which is up tilt into up tilt into up smash. And the crowd lost it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Donato just asked me, "Are you talking about my blue jammies?" No, not those blue jammies.
Not those.
Although I'll show you, it's
those.
a picture of Mario, the character Mario. He's wearing such cool clothes. I'm gonna show you a picture. Donato's watching Jurassic World right now.
Ooh.
Camp Cretaceous. No. It's Lego Jurassic World. That's what it is.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, like damn.
Yeah, there's.
I remember that tournament. Everyone in the audience was given a flip book with all the characters on it, and you were supposed to flip to who you wanted to move on to the next round or who you thought was the winner. So like they had an audience hype meter, and then the host would be like, "Who do you think was the more stylish?" And we'd all wave our Pikachu or our whatever. And like he would just glance at the front row, and whoever 3 people were there, he would just pick, even though it, like,
Yeah.
It was just a weird experience.
And Hugo's Mega Man won every single round.
Yeah, no matter what, like no matter what he did, he just shot one final
Hugo's
smash.
fucking Mega Man.
Yeah, he got.
Did y'all know that? Okay, so you remember we played with made up rules, right? Like, so whoever won at the end screen didn't necessarily win.
Yeah,
Y'all
it was like
remember
a
that?
hype. Yeah, it was like a hype
was
meter.
Stock count. Or no, not
No,
stock
hype,
count, but
hype was like hype
kills
went
you
into a
got?
second bracket, but there
Oh,
was
got it.
a
Yeah,
winner. But the winner was decided in a different way. I don't remember the exact rules, but it was like SDs counted as -2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, changed in the game.
it's like time
And
rules.
so-
It was like time rules.
They never came up with a plan to tell the commentators who won. I kept asking, like in practice, like, wait, who fucking won? And I just had to figure out how to do the mental math. And I actually got it wrong one time. When I was doing math every game, that was the most stressful part of that whole thing. Is that whenever somebody won, I had to like do some like extra math and then be like, and Hugo won. And I was like not sure if somebody was gonna come up and be like, no, he did not win.
This is
That's
why
so funny.
I did
Nintendo
get it
doesn't
wrong one
like
time.
tournaments. They
Yeah,
can't.
they can't do math.
fund
They can't
them.
They
Just
never
for
figured
production,
out.
man. Just make it whatever the windscreen says. Don't even worry about competitive
Oh,
integrity at
I
that
know,
point.
dude.
Just go with the windscreen. Who cares, dude?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was a weird, but we were so full of hope at
I
that
know.
point,
I
you
mean,
know?
everyone was just riding high on Smash.
Because we
fever
were
the
like,
whole
look,
year,
look, this is kind of, whatever. No one's saying this makes you the best fucking player in the world or whatever. Like, this isn't supposed to be the end all be all for competition. We all knew that.
Yeah,
But we were like, hey, this is the first time Nintendo's extending us an olive branch. And this is the first time we have aligned to them at all because they'd been
Yeah.
completely radio silent before this.
And the momentum.
Yeah, and the momentum. Right,
of the year. Like everyone's going up.
It was
like, Smash
2014.
is rising all year. Everyone's feeling like Smash has got this big energy. Twitch hires 2 new people for Smash.
Mhm.
Viewership's going up, and Nintendo's finally reaching out. Who knows what will happen in 2015? Who knows what happened in 2016? Like, this is all. It felt like a really positive trend
Right.
that ultimately, didn't pan out. But
We got some good years out of it. And we'll have more good years, just not off the back of Nintendo,
oh yeah, I mean the Nintendo relationship didn't pan out. I think Melee's panned out for sure.
Melee panned out. Yeah. But
Just for anyone near Leffen, it didn't pan out because he was just so toxic.
yeah, he
Like,
was just mean to them.
anyone he touched.
Yeah.
I mean, they opened up with Leffen and they showed 2 separate stories of him allegedly making fun of disabled people. Like, right. And like, that's the first thing they talk
Intro.
about. Not one,
Yeah.
but 2 back to back. And like, they don't show his side. He was 15 years
Yeah.
old. They don't mention that. And
Yeah.
like, they're like, all right, from there, let's go into his story in Melee. But first, this makes clear he doesn't
Yeah.
like disabled
Yeah,
people. And
it's
then-
the first thing they say about him, and like I think the way that they do him, honestly, the most disservice, because I was I tweeted about this stuff and someone replied to me and they said, look, man, isn't it important that we capture the reality of how things worked back then? And I made the point that I don't really think it was reality because
That's what I think. Yeah.
none of our
Mhm.
first impressions of Leffen was a guy that hates disabled people. That's
Yeah,
actually
that's not the
inaccurate.
opener.
That's actually inaccurate. We all knew him
Yeah.
before then.
Yeah.
Not to mention, you look at Twitch chat at the end of episode 5, and Kevin Nanny, PP's saying, "I want a new top player to do battle with."
Yeah.
Armada's good. And
I
there's
know. I
like
thought
this
that was
build
so
up.
hype.
They
That's
should've
so
gone
It's
with
so
that
hype. I
direction.
was starting getting goosebumps. Chat was popping
Oh,
off.
that was a sick
Big
direction.
left,
I know.
left
It was
episode, Leffen time.
It was-
And then
it was
Leffen
sick.
comes on. He's beating Armada, and it's sad. There's like this
Yeah.
funeral dirge playing. And then he's beating whoever was next, Mango, and it's sad. And it's not happy, like, damn. And we didn't
Yeah.
feel like that at the time. It just isn't accurate.
No, it
you know?
was cool.
It was cool at the time. Aatrox was making the point. I had this vibe, like, dude, the music for the last couple episodes has been sad. And 2014, Aatrox started in late 2013, started playing in 2014. 2014 was like the hypest
It
fucking year
was
for
such
Melee.
a cool year, man. I wanted to hear more about your guys' experience in 2014 just because, like, that was your year. That was the year Toph and Scar became the voice of Melee. I talked about it. And that was the,
Dude.
just for everybody who was getting into the scene, you were the eyes they saw it through, and you were telling the stories that weren't told in the doc, and you were commentating all the big tournaments, and so, like, I don't know, it was weird to portray that year as in any way sad because it really was like the 1st we've made it kind of year.
Yeah, I just I don't know. I would be mad if I was Mango. I'd be mad if I was Leffen. For me, like that, it's no skin off my back, obviously, but I do feel like the vibe of those years was super positive, and
Yeah.
the vibe of the doc for those episodes was very sad. And I mean, people in my chat came in earlier and they said, hey, let's not judge the movie until it's over. And I'm like, true. And then someone else said, yeah, but most movies don't have a 24-hour intermission. So where the fucking audience
I was thinking,
goes out to the foyer
thinking
and talks about it, so
Yes.
you can't really blame us.
I was thinking about how weird that is to consume, to just consume this piece of media in this specific way, like having this weird Twitch premiere thing. I like it. I think it's dope. I was actually thinking about whether or not, it's a good business strategy, but either way, like having the chat while it airs the first time and making it like a big moment is really cool. Like we would still be talking about the doc, but you would never know who binged the whole thing, who only watched one episode. You know what I mean? We wouldn't have this.
Right.
It extends the conversation. So it is kind of cool, but it is also a little weird because I feel like my head's not straight in terms of what I feel like I still have to digest what I saw. I do think that at the end of the day, like I definitely feel for Samox in that like it's brutal to create anything in this world.
Oh yeah.
And anybody creating anything for Melee, I always want to be, I think it's good no matter what at the end of the day, if like there's more stuff getting created.
No, this is an unequivocal.
I definitely feel like you can never please, but it doesn't feel like sometimes you could, but you can't please everybody.
I mean, the first doc
sucks.
Think about what the first doc did to Mango. Like it did him a little bit dirty, but we don't talk about the first doc like it's a bad thing. The first doc,
no,
was so good for Melee. It wasn't all perfect. Everything wasn't right. It also had the thing about Isaiah and his girlfriend being the only reason he didn't win. Obviously, that's a little corny. That probably wasn't true. I think it was more he was outplayed by Ken, not that he didn't have the love of some girl. But the point is, like, the first doc was still on the whole awesome for Melee, and I think this next doc is the same way. But if we've lived through it, we're going to talk about some of the nitpicks. And at the end of the day, I just feel bad for Leffen and Mango, and especially in this last couple of episodes, it just feels like, man, because
do we talk about what's coming? What do you think is coming up?
What do you mean? Oh, for the next episode?
I'm just curious. Yeah,
from what I can gather,
Apex, right? Apex 2015 feels like the big
climax. From what I can gather, the focal point of these episodes, and I think the way it started was it was going to be an Armada PP doc, and I think it got expanded into Five Gods doc, which kind of explains some of the directorial decisions you see with like, PP was really sad this year, and it's got a really sad vibe, so kind of lines up. I expect it's going to end on a high note with PP in Apex 2015, and PP Armada Grand Finals in Apex 2015. I think that's how it's going to kind of come to a head. So
imagine it ends with Leffen versus Chillin, and then we just go super deep into that, dude.
Let's fucking go.
Something else.
What's up?
Okay, the Swedish Fight Club thing is so sick, and it made me wish that we had like local scenes like that, dude.
Tell me more. Oh yeah, you with the hidden
Link?
Young Link.
When he's playing Young Link and That's the other thing that I was thinking about a bunch is like, okay, so imagine you're Armada and you're like one of how many? Not 10? Like one of 10 kids, right? He's probably used to doing that. I thought it was so dope that Armada announced to his family that he was retiring. Okay, I thought that was dope. I don't think I would do that. I don't know why. I just don't talk to my family about
in that
Melee
way,
at
right?
all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like kind of gathering everybody. I was thinking about that in terms of like what made Armada feel comfortable saying like, hey, everybody here, this is a secret between us, which I think is a dope thing to do. And like, I don't know. I think that's super cool that he just kind of, I think that's super
says
cool.
a lot.
That's just
saying,
such a dope story.
It says, you know, how much.
And the one other thing that I thought was filthy, I just want to say it real quick, is Prague. Dude, I did not know that Prague, like, low key, you know,
brought Armada
he was,
back.
he was,
got Armada.
Yeah, he was going to bring Armada back.
Yeah.
What is it going to take, homie? And I will buy that victory, but only if you fucking
compete.
Okay? That ticket is not going to manifest from me if you don't compete. That's so sick.
I actually really
Prague made it happen.
I really loved that it was Armada even telling the story. And like, it would be one thing if it was like, you know, Prague saying, and then I tried to figure out how to get him. You know, I wanted to figure out which button I needed to push.
Right.
It was Armada was like, you know, but everyone's got their little, and Prague was probing, and he got me.
Yeah.
Armada admitted it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was also cool, like how he said it, how he framed it, because like felt like I was in his shoes, you know, where you could imagine people messaging you and being like, "Hey, come back." And Prague didn't just say, "Hey, come back." You know, he took some next steps on that, and I think that's sick.
That whole story was amazing.
I didn't know that he was that dirty. And for anyone who's heard the story of Genesis 2 when PP lost and he went out to the rafters, and I took that picture.
You took that picture.
Do you have that picture?
I want to show took the picture, but I never found it. Okay.
Oh, you never found it.
And that's why it's not in the documentary. And I looked.
Oh.
Yes, that's how I know that he was out there for 40 minutes, because I saw when he went out there, I was smoking a cigarette. I took a picture of him. I was like, damn, dude.
I heard you tell that story IRL when you were telling it in the doc. I was like, I've heard Scar tells this story. This story's a Scar classic.
But I have to all the people who have heard that story, I now have to say that I was wrong, because I saw Hungry Box go out and talk to PP. A lot of us were out there, and PP seemed like he wanted space, right? So we were all giving him space, to my knowledge. And I felt like, dang, you know, H-Box is really going over there. This guy clearly doesn't want
it's hard to know
to be bothered. But I now have to take it back, and I'm actually very happy to hear that, you know, H-Box was just there to be a homie.
I would love more H-Box stories, man.
You know, Bobby, I think you might have been in the right. Like, I feel like for a guy like PP there, it probably, you know, I almost feel like it's poetic, and I almost feel like it needs to be another god to come over.
I agree. Like, maybe it was I agree.
I think you were in the right.
In retrospect now, I shouldn't have gone up to him, but I was wrong to think that Hungry Box shouldn't have.
There you go. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But now I know. So I need to clarify for the record, because I didn't have this information. Now the documentary showed me a whole other side of the story that I didn't know, which is the dopest part.
That is the sickest thing we're getting.
I want more of that.
The dopest part is that, because, you know, we're on the inside of this story, and it's cool to hear parts that we didn't know. That's really cool. Yeah, PP definitely had some shit to say about Mango, dude. PP is definitely basically saying, like, dude, fuck that guy. And I think it was actually kind of dope that that's what the storyline came to at Kings of Cali, where like that losers finals was him kind of saying like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, fuck you. Yeah.
Like, fuck you so much. Like, that's
I'm gonna beat your ass.
And this really hit me, like that set, like watching that, listening to Hugs' commentary, first of all, is fucking funny. Because Hugo the whole time was just like, Mango's gonna win. You know, game one. Mango's winning this.
I'm not worried at all. I'm not worried.
He wins one game, and now it's 2-1, and it's like, oh, he tastes a bit of defeat. He doesn't like it. You know, he's just gonna win, and then he loses. And I thought it was so sick, because Ken's commentary, on the other hand, you think about Ken like showing up to Kings of Cali, he's beginner's mind, and he still thinks that he's so fucking good, you know, because that's Ken. So he's just watching them. He's just like observing, and he's just saying how he's like, dude.
He's noticing the truth, the actual truth.
He's like, Hugs, you don't know. PP wants this so
like,
bad.
Look at PP's face.
You can see it. He said you can see it. He wants it so bad. And I thought that was so sick. It made me want to go back and watch that set again,
Dude,
just to
that's
see it the
actually so
way
true.
Ken saw it.
you're
you know?
so right. Because I
Where you
remember
could
in
just
that
see
moment,
PP.
in that moment, I was on Team Ken as that set was happening, or Team Hugs. Like as that set was happening, I'm like, no, Mango's gonna clutch up and he's gonna always come on, PP can't beat Mango. Come on.
Yeah.
They're like big brother, little brother. You know, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
Big Brother's gonna beat his ass. And yeah, I remember going back and rewatching with commentary. I was like, damn, Ken was just right.
Ken was seeing it before other people. Yeah, he was like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, I've been a competitor.
He was just he was just looking
yeah,
at it.
like-
And he also, the thing is that he saw the winner set where Mango just whooped him, you know?
Yeah,
So I feel like Ken
Coming
saw
off
the
of-
set
yeah,
where
3-0.
Mango beat PP. He's going into it saying like, dude, this is going to be hard for PP because he just doesn't look like he's in the same league as
Objectively.
Mango.
yeah,
And I feel like within game one, he was saying like, no, PP came to play.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true.
Game one of
Yeah.
losers, Ken was just like, no, PP's here. He's playing right now.
Yeah, and it
Like
takes
he was
someone who's
checked out last set.
competed to see that. Like, yeah, I think Ken had that ability. Yeah, that's true. That was a really hype moment from the doc. There were
Yeah.
some fucking awesome moments from
There were
all the
some awesome
episodes. I
moments.
mean,
Absolutely,
Shout
yeah.
out to Sammox, dude. It makes you so
Yeah.
happy to be a Melee player because no other esports scene gets videos like this. Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody
not at
gets
all.
these kind of docs that like are just so sick and
Mm-hmm.
tell the stories in such a cool way of just, what is really a group of like less than 1,000 people play. It's not like we're the biggest game. It's not like we have the most money. I don't know.
Oh,
like,
you know what? I thought that was interesting too, because the community was so much smaller before the first doc. So but I feel like when watching it, that doesn't really come through. Like they definitely said, "Oh yeah, Melee grew," but I think it's actually kind of cool because you like in the earlier episodes, even though the community was small and like it, we weren't growing, we were a few number of people. The story was still dope. So you
Yeah.
could tell the story without ever saying like, "Oh, there's only really 1,000 people here."
Yeah.
And that would make it feel less hype. It's like, oh, Spider-Man's going to save the world of 600 people.
Yeah, a
Like,
small
there's
village
no,
outside.
everybody
of-
else
Yeah.
is dead. Yeah, it's just like the last human encampment. I guess that makes it kind of hype, but yeah, I thought it was just kind of interesting. Like you don't have a vibe of how like the legitimacy really went up.
I liked the emphasis a little bit on in the Summer Smash where it showed like the entrant counts and like
Yeah.
seeing that.
Yeah, that was dope.
If anything, I would have honed in on that a little more, especially when Evo. 'cause
Yeah.
I thought, I remember, right? Remember at the time,
Evo breaking 1,000?
breaking 4 digits was fucking.
That was
big. It's
crazy.
oh,
Yeah, it was nuts.
shit.
That's why
I
that's why I really like the Swedish Fight Club thing, dude. It's like an out of the game meta.
Well, that's what's cool is
It's
because
so sick.
games don't have that anymore with everything being online. Even Melee doesn't have it anymore with
Even
Flippy.
Melee, yeah.
Like that was like a last gasp of Melee even in that era because every game that wasn't Melee was online. But because of CRTs and no net play, Melee was like the last game that still had like regional metas well into the 2010s. And it was like, how sick was it that he could create a new character in a 20-year or at that time like 10, 12-year-old game and keep it a secret? That's unheard of. You can't do that in League of Legends. You can't like secretly, you're playing on solo queue with a million other people. Everyone knows like everything gets stolen and ripped off and changed. And that's just so cool. I agree with you that I mean, that's what attracted me to Melee even in 2013, 14. I was like, man, I missed some of that from the early days of esports and like Melee, everything's in person. You have to meet up with people, like that's so cool.
You would never get East Coast, West Coast styles and that
Yeah.
whole differential.
Yeah, in like Counter-Strike or something. It's not.
Nah, it
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense. I mean,
a little bit regions,
a little bit, but not to
but
the
not to the
degree.
same level. Like completely hidden, totally different ways of looking at the game, shaped by a few players who like really, changed their whole region. That's just cool.
Yeah, one person can come out and really. That's why that's the only reason I was saying I would have liked a little bit of Axe. I would have liked a little bit of Axe, especially in 2010, 2011. He was such a big deal. He was really, he changed a lot of things for a lot of people, I think. Even AMSA, 2013, 2014, you could focus. Kings
They didn't talk about, they talked about Kings of Cali 4.
They didn't talk about my boy Ben SW.
They didn't talk about Ben SW making
place.
also win.
7th place.
They didn't.
That's what I want.
That's a
This
missed
is my-
opportunity.
Edit out. Here's my. If I could have Magic Wand, Dream World, I can have all the power. This is what I want. Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna edit out Leffen, some of the bad shit. I'm gonna talk about edit out whatever. Edit out him talking about how he hates disabled people. Okay, I'm gonna edit that out.
okay.
Take that out.
Sure.
Maybe we'll put it later.
Yeah, put
Get
it
to know
later.
him a little bit
Give him an
first.
intro. Warm
It's like
you
a
up.
by the way. Yeah. So I've beaten all the gods.
By the way, he does hate disabled
By the
people.
way. Anyway, so I edit that stuff out. But now there's a void. What am I gonna put in? Okay, back to Kings of Cali 4. one of the original gods, Mewtwo King, is having a tough time at this tournament. Yeah, there was this guy behind me. I was playing AMSA, and he was just yelling, 7th place, really loudly in my ear. I saw him at one point throw a cup of ice at children. I thought he was a real mean guy. To this day, I have no idea who it was. And then cut to BetSW interview. Yeah, fuck Mewtwo King. Yeah, I was really wanting AMSA to win. I don't know, just BetSW shit. That would be the perfect world for me. I want that documentary. The tale of BetSW.
That story needs to be told.
It needs to be told.
You know what you could do? Because you could actually do it like one of those mystery alien films and have a zoom in on the crowd of every top 8 for the past like 6 years. Dun, 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 and you zoom in, you see BetSW in the front row every single time. He's puppet master, dude. He's behind the strings. He decides who he wants to win, and he cheers so loudly he makes it happen. BetSW's been pulling the strings of Melee fucking since 2014 at the minimum. I bet if you go back to fucking
Dreads.
10 versus
so
Isaiah, you'll find a young BetSW in the fucking back of the crowd.
Yeah,
screaming, dude. He's
It
been
is
around.
There.
but okay, I get it. It's a doc on them.
I mean, Mewtwo King himself didn't get much, man, for being one of the 5 gods in a 5 god documentary.
We cut straight to. Did you notice this? They cut straight to Big House 4, Big House 3, the return
Big House
of
3.
the King.
Dude,
And that was really hard.
No,
that was
Mewtwo
really
King's
being
just not. Yeah, Mewtwo King's just not getting. It's like not about him.
Hey, Trump, were you in chat earlier when I said?
Because I was thinking about Return of the King and how sick that was.
And that was the beginning of Scar and Toph too. Really, like as a breakout.
I agree.
What were you saying, Toph?
I'm fucking memeing again.
forgot.
Bro. I was gonna say, I were you in chat earlier when I said glossing over Yeezus Hungry Box was a big loss? H-Fox air drumming.
Some people were saying like 5th at Genesis. I thought that was pretty funny.
5th at Genesis was funny. Anything involving the letter Y instead of J gets me every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, not including H-Box's many stances over the years is a missed opportunity. Not really going into his remember not including SFAT
like
trying to stand up versus SFAT trying to counter stand and then getting sit back down by H-Box.
Yeah.
Is one of the greatest moments.
That's such a good story. Yeah.
H-Box starts a whole summer of standing and he's winning everything. And then SFAT really has had enough. I'm going to stand back. And he kicks his chair out and he stands up for one game.
And his tech skill immediately goes to shit because it turns out he has never practiced standing up. And it's not that easy to just play standing up if you've never done it. And he's like, oh shit, now where's my chair?
So
oh no.
Funny. It's so funny to drag your kicked chair back
so
you can sit back down. That is so funny to me. You just have to you have to commit at that point. Once you're standing,
you really
gotta lose the last couple of games.
Just lose the set. Yeah, just lose it.
You can't be like, oh, okay, but actually,
you wanted to have his cake and eat it.
This is uncomfortable on the knees. New Mango tweet? What did he tweet? He's been taking it all. He said, just be glad none of you had the bad shit you said when you were 15 documented. I'm sure all of you are angels. I will always take the hit from Melee in any way possible. Just another documentary for Mango Rawful.
Mango's actually being such a sport about this whole thing.
I think he's being a sport. And also, like, they made him look real good in the first 3, which is what kind of sticks in my mind. Like, I watched all of them. I watched all 6 now, and I don't feel like Mango came off. I feel like he came off looking like I think even if you were new to it, you're like, Mango's pretty sick.
Karen thought it was like really adorable that you guys flew to Sweden together.
Nuts?
She thought that was,
she
thought that was really
And then
cute.
you're like staying up in sleeping bags talking about like, is my playstyle good enough? And I'm like, what an awesome story.
Yeah, I actually wish that I wish that I said that like I'd never seen him like that, you know, because I think that would have added to it. But I hadn't. Yeah, that was he was definitely like defeated.
Yeah,
he was defeated, dude. Armada fucked him up.
Yeah,
and
it
was
bad.
The context of the time was fucking crazy because Armada hadn't really been practicing in like 6 months at the time because he'd been retired. So it was like a really bad look for Mango. I remember watching that like, man, Mango can't beat washed retired Armada. In fact, he's getting forward stock. In fact, they played 60 friendlies all on YouTube and won like 3. That's not a good look. That's a bad look.
Crazy, actually, in hindsight.
He got
and I was there for it. I like stopped watching. Damn, dude, I can't keep watching this. He's just getting fucking destroyed, dude.
Brutal.
Wasn't 3? Yeah, it was higher than 3. It felt like 3.
That's so funny.
That was the feeling. It was more than 3, but it was like it was not good. I'll tell you that. I remember thinking,
but that was a good moment. That was a good moment. I'm glad that made it in.
Well, it was cool because they contrasted that, you know, and then at EVO 2013, it was like Armada talking, and Armada even saying like, yeah, the aggression works really well when you mix in some defense. And it kind of
Yes.
ties back into the talk you had with them. So the implication there is like, well, Scar, you know, kind of helped him out a little bit. It
Yeah,
would have
put
been
it
cool
in
to get
terms-
more interviews from you about that, actually, that arc.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I feel like it did come through though, you know, because there's some you could sometimes I feel like it's hard to explain why somebody is getting better, you know, but I thought that I thought it was dope. It was kind of like an anime thing there where it's like, okay, this super aggressive player learned some defense and that made him a new player.
Yeah, another
That's
level.
so easy.
Mhm.
It's just so easy to understand.
Yep.
And it was super cool to hear Armada say that.
It adds
You
that
can
credence
connect
to
the
it.
dots. Dude, every time
Yeah.
one of the gods complimented another one, I liked it.
No,
Like,
I like that.
anytime, because they're all so competitive and they're all behind the scenes talk shit about each other's characters.
Oh,
And, you know,
Dude,
like,
okay.
Go
On
for
that
it.
point, one of
Yeah.
the sickest moments was when Armada was like reflecting on playing PP's Marth and like how he slowly said, like, this Marth is nothing like Jason's. Like he was,
yeah.
and he was moving his hands back and forth.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
dash dancing.
Yeah.
that
yeah.
You could
dancing.
see him seeing PP like
whole
and
new light.
feeling this new
Yeah.
Marth thing in his world.
This
It was
is
so
something
sick.
new.
It was so sick.
Yeah, it was so
Even
sick.
just PP saying, I need a
Oh.
better dash. Or, you know, that was, I
I
thought that
need a
was
longer
such a,
dash. Yeah.
I need a longer dash. That's so hype.
That's so hype.
That's
I
really
love
hype,
how
yeah.
Such a hype-
simple that of an ask it is. You know, it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this
That-
tiny thing.
Because Armada's beating my ass with this. I need a longer dash. I don't know, it's just so sick.
Yeah, it's
so
really sick.
Oh my
And then he
God.
comes up with this whole new style of and I remember that was the story of 2015. I'm probably gonna talk about it more in the next one, but like
Mhm.
everyone talked about PP's dash dance for 8 months. I mean,
Yeah.
that was all people would talk about was like, oh, are you play like the game like this, or do you play like PP with a dash dance? Like it's like he invented the pure concept of dash dancing.
No, he turned
After
every
20
narrative upside down.
Yeah.
I remember I messaged Kirby Kaze one night and I was like, hey man, so does Marth like beat Sheik now? And he's like, "Dude, I don't know.
We don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I didn't know you could move the
Probably.
stick right then left, but it actually beats everything.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Dude, it was at the time, it was crazy how fast we wrote Mewtwo King off. I mean, like,
oh yeah.
you can't blame it. Because, like, I remember they played
Well,
a
he also
tournament.
beat his ass in the Ditto, right? He beat his ass.
Yeah. Like, I remember it was
Mhm,
like he finally had to play Mewtwo King. And I remember watching the stream and I was like, all right, look, Jason does not lose.
Yeah,
fucking
this is
Marth.
yeah,
And by the end of the tournament, I was like, look,
I was
PP
so hyped. I was like,
PP
dude,
does
Mewtwo
not
King.
lose Marth. I was like, I don't know who this Jason guy thinks he is.
Yeah,
Trying to Marth
it was
PP.
depressing for me as a Mewtwo fan. I was like, Mewtwo's gonna show him what the fuck Marth's about, dude. All this,
Yes.
and it wasn't close. And
It was
oh,
like
man,
it was that
demoralizing.
SpongeBob like 1 hour later, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know who this Mewtwo King guy thinks he is. With
Yeah,
this
who the
Marth.
fuck is Mewtwo again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Take the jersey off. Take
Fucking-
the fucking C4 M4K whatever.
Yeah, cool
jersey
Black Marth, idiot. Yeah, I don't know who you think you are.
Your 19
It was so
sponsors. Get out of
fast.
here, dude.
He dethroned him as Beth Marth so
Yeah,
it was
he
overnight.
really he ripped his whole fucking claim to fame off. Yeah.
It was insane. It was really insane. No one's ever done that.
2015, that was a crazy tournament for PP. And also, the storyline of being gone. They kind of glossed over PP being the favorite for the first half of 2014, though. He was like, he crushed the first half, then he went on his hiatus.
Yeah.
And then he came back and won 2015. So they made it seem like he's just been out of it since he got depressed. And
I guess because Armada won. Oh no. PP did win Apex. Yeah, Apex
he
2014
won
was a pretty
Skatar. He
strong-
won, he won some shit. He was,
Skatar was huge. He ended Skatar in a 4-stock.
yeah, he
Yeah,
was
the last game of the tournament was a 4-stock. 4-stock Mewtwo King.
Yeah, dude, Mewtwo King got his ass beat a lot in 2014 for a Mewtwo King fan. I remember
Mm.
my favorite set of all time, though, and they showed it heavily in the doc, is him versus Mango with the Gimps at Big House 4 and you guys commentating. And it's funny, I knew every word of your guys' commentary from those clips by heart because I've seen that set 600 times. And there's a point where Tove says, I'm going to go back and watch this a lot. So, sup, future Tove? Sup, future Star?
Hey,
And
let's fucking
I've
go.
seen that 1,000 times in every year of my life since they're like, it's such a funny call.
That's
It's like
so
I'm talking to past Tove.
That's so hype, dude. It's crazy how this shit fucking loops.
Yeah, it is crazy.
I,
Man,
you
it's
know.
pretty sick.
Man, yeah, dude, good memories. Good fucking memories, man. Probably go back and watch this shit at some point.
Doc review in 5 years. We'll see.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?